All right, welcome everyone to another Data Talent Showcase. My name is Ali. I'll be your host for the next hour and a half. We have an action-packed event for you where we have 3 people that are going to be competing. We all know that it's not enough to walk it how you walk it. You got to talk that talk as well. And that's what this competition is about. It's about presenting a story to the audience around the project that they have completed as part of the Colaberry program. All right, so my agenda for this evening, number 1, I'm going to do a small intro. Then I'm going to introduce our guest judges for tonight. Then I'm going to introduce our contestants. And then one by one, they're going to go and present their story, and we're going to get feedback from the judges in between each presentation. After the 3 presentations, we're going to get the judges, we're going to conduct a poll and see what the crowd thought. Everybody gets their vote, and then we're going to see if that matches with the judges. Okay, and then after that, we're going to talk to the contestants. We're going to thank our judges, and we're going to be out of here by 5:30. How does that sound? Give me a thumbs up if you're good with that. But even more than a thumbs up, okay, I need those of you who know what I'm talking about. All right, everybody get that right finger in the air. Everybody put your right finger in the air, just like this. All right, not your virtual finger. Put your real finger in the air. Okay. Now, when I say so, I want you guys to take yourselves off of mute and give me a whoop whoop. Okay. Now, I don't want a whoop whoop like you got a baby in the next room and you're trying not to wake them. I want to feel the energy of the room. All right. So everybody, take yourselves off of mute and give me a whoop whoop. Oh, that was horrible, guys. That was horrible. All right, we're gonna have to try that one more time. I told you I need to feel the energy. I'm not feeling the energy yet. So everybody, take yourselves off of mute and give me a woo woo. Woo-hoo. Next up on our agenda is we want to introduce our wonderful judges. All right, Mr. Steve Sabin, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Thank you, and thank you for letting me participate in this. Ali, I'm an ex-Navy guy, so there you go. I have been in the data field for over 30 years, 20 years with Deloitte. So I'm now presently a director in our global part of our firm, doing global data management services for our participating firms around the globe. So I'm very interested to see your presentations. I really love data. I kind of dig it. I never heard it called sexy before, so I'm kind of excited about that. So, thank you for having me participate in this.
All right, thank you for being here. Next up, Joel.
Is that Joe Beal?
Yes, sir. Joel? That's you.
Oh, sorry. So Joe Beal, happy to be here, Ali. Thank you for having me again. And going through the process, you made it very seamless. Joe Beal also worked for Deloitte. Been in the industry and lead our cyber practice in areas such as detection and response, and leading up a lot of our go-to-market areas there. I'm also the lead business partner for energy environmental, where data has been a true source of how we operate in our business today. But definitely had a 25-year career so far. And for me, it's been a journey, right? And that's been always surrounding data. We're now jumping into this Gen AI thing, right? No one knows what to call it yet, but excited to see everyone present and proud to see all the wonderful faces on the line. So with that, I'll hand it over back to you, Alan.
All right, sounds good, Joe. Thank you for being here this evening. Next up, we have Gopi.
Hello, hi everyone. Thanks for the opportunity, Ali here. I'm Gopi Panuluru. I am, again, one of the guys, was very passionate about data. I am in the industry for about 20 years or so. And, I kind of, worked into different areas. And my longest is in Honeywell. I spent about 15 years there. Last year I joined in the United Healthcare. Here, I lead the data engineering globally, and I'm a director. And again, as you mentioned, we got a lot of data, a lot of analytics, but generative AI has been one of the top things that we are also looking into, right? How we can leverage. But with the even though it's a healthcare, like heavy on the data, so I'm more work on the clinical space. So yeah, I'm definitely eager to see the presentation, and I haven't heard about Colaberry before, so great video. So get to learn a little bit. So again, thanks for having me here.
All right, awesome. Fun fact, we've gotten people placed at United Healthcare Group and Deloitte. So that's pretty interesting. Okay, let's move on to the contestants. First up, we have Shalaja. What are you going to be presenting for us this afternoon?
Yeah, hi Ali, hi guest. Today I'll be presenting about US tornado from the year 2000 to 2021. So basically it's a Power BI presentation.
All right, Power BI presentation on US tornadoes. Sounds good. Okay, Esther, what are you going to be presenting for us?
Hi, everyone. I'll be presenting data on healthcare investment and how it affects the length of hospital stays between the year 1990 to the year 2018.
Okay, healthcare investment. Sounds good. Next up, we have Helen. What are you going to be presenting for us?
Hi, everyone. Today I am presenting on New York City traffic accident between January to August 2020.
All right, fantastic. All right, well, you guys heard it. We have our contestants, we got our judges. Now it's time to get to the presentation. So I'm going to play some music for about 30 seconds. Okay, after that music, we get all loose. After that music, Shalaja, it is all yours.
Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do? 24-karat magic in the air. Head to toe so clear. Look out.
Hi everyone, this is Shailaja Raganathan. I'm the Senior Power BI Developer. Today I'll be presenting you my Power BI project on US tornado from the year 2000 to 2021. From my childhood, I was always captivated by the news and stories of these tornadoes. I remember flipping through the newspapers and seeing the images of large buildings and towns which are torn apart by these tornadoes. I was wondering about the incredible power of these storms, and the impact they cause always stayed with me. These tornadoes cause damage to property, but more importantly, loss of life, which is irreplaceable. They create an emotional trauma and they inflict economical and environmental harm on the affected areas. But can we stop these tornadoes? Can we prevent them? No. They are natural calamity, right? We cannot have power to do that. But can we use the knowledge, what we have done for analysis, and use it for effective planning of tornadoes for future? Absolutely. This is what I'm aiming in this project. So I have my US tornado data set. I use it for analysis, and then I reveal the patterns of the tornadoes, like which month the tornadoes are at peak, in which regions there are more fatality. So then we can use it for effective tornado preparation strategy. Now, this is the KPI and sub KPI. Here you can see my main KPIs are tornado count, fatality, injuries, length, and width. And I have my sub KPIs for all these main KPIs, which I have done year over year. Whenever there is a year over year increase in, say, tornado count or fatality or injuries, then it is not good, right? So I have given an alert. I have used the red indicator. Whenever the year over year values are decreasing, then I have used the green indicator. This is my KPI. Now here, this is the data model which I have used. So this data set, US data set, I have derived from a data set which is produced from the NOAA Storm Prediction Center. I have this data set in the form of Excel, which I have imported in the Power BI. Then I have used a US state region table to give the region column. I have used a calendar table. Then I created a fact table, that is the measures, which I have used the complex DAX formulas. These measures I have used in my KPIs, key performance indicators. I have my refresh date where it says the recently refreshed date of my data source. Then I have created a tornado impact table. This mainly I have used it for my waterfall chart, which I have used it in my dashboard. Now, before going to the insights, let me show you my dashboard so that we can have a analysis on that. So this is my dashboard. As you can see, I have a slicer which the user can interact, and we can see how my KPI values and other visualization, they change when I move the slicer. I have all my KPIs, main KPIs and sub KPIs in the left-hand side, which we already discussed, and the indicators. I have my line and cluster chart here with the KPIs and the year, which it can be drilled down further. I can drill the year to the month and day, which we'll be seeing soon. Now I have my decomposition chart. This is a very interesting visualization. And here you can see this gives the region and state where there are more fatalities. So as you can see, the South region has the maximum fatality, and you can see the states in the decreasing order. Then I have my tornado impact table. Here I have shown the changes in my year-over-year sub-KPIs, tornado count, fatality, injuries, all that. Then I have my line and cluster chart for region state. This visualization, I have created a drill through with the decomposition tree. When I click on the Midwest, you can see how it shows me the states which have maximum fatalities. Now, then I have my tornado count by state map. Here the user can see any one of the state, say Texas, and you can see how the fatalities are in Texas, and you can see the KPIs, the count and fatalities, all changes when I click on the Texas region. Now, coming to the positive insights. Here you can see in the year 2012, you can see how my year-over-year values, they are dropping down. Especially if we see for, say, Mississippi, you can see that my year-over-year tornado count is nearly 50% drop. My fatality is like 0, and injuries are 90% in 2012 when compared to the previous year, which is 2011. You can see for the same Mississippi state, you can see my year-over-year values are alarmingly high. So this is one of the positive insight for the year 2012. So similarly, we have another positive insight for 2016. Here you can see mainly in the South region, you can see how my year-over-year sub-KPI values are dropping down. So this is one of the positive insight. Similarly, we have for the 2018. So these are some of the positive insight. But let's focus on the negative insight too. Now, as you can see, the year 2011 as the peak year-over-year sub-KPIs. This orange line which is there, this says about the year-over-year fatality. I have color mapped the numbers with the year-over-year sub-KPI values. So if we click on the 2011, you can see that it is like maximum for me. The year-over-year value is maximum over the decade for this 2011 year. Similarly, what happens is like in the year 2019, if we see here, so you can see how my fatality rate is 320%. And if I increase the magnitude, more the magnitude of the tornadoes, you can see the more the fatality rate, right? So these are some of the negative insights. And moreover, by seeing the graph, you can see that here, let me come back. So you can see that 2004, 2008, and 2011, you have the highest tornado count. You can see the bars here. 2004, it has the 1,816 tornado count, and you have in 2011, you have 1,690 tornado counts, all that. But the interesting fact is, if you drill down further, you can see that the tornado count is maximum for Q2, that is in the month of April, May, June. This is not only for 2011, if you see for other years, say 2008 and 4, which has maximum tornado count, it is highest in the April, May, June. So now we know the high risk months, right? So it is the April, May, June. Then we have the high risk states. As you can see, the south region, it has the high fatalities. So when I click on the south region, you can see the tornado count, which is there for the states. So let me drill up. Now, if I select on these states, you can see that, say, I'm selecting on Mississippi, I'm selecting Alabama. You can see how my fatality is increasing, right? So you can see the fatality rate is increasing 577%. So these are some of the high risk states which are there. So now we know the high risk month, we know the high risk states here. Now what we can do? We can now do the effective tornado planning for the future. So let me come back to the PowerPoint presentation. Now, we already saw about the positive and negative insight. Now, coming to the effective tornado preparation. Now I know the high risk month and high risk state. Now what we can do? We can enhance the tornado alert in these states, especially before these months. Like we can have some mobile messaging system, we can have some tornado sirens, we can have some weather radios, news channels to alert the people. Especially, we need to protect the loss of life, right? And we cannot do as an individual. We have to engage with other authorities, FEMA, Emergency Management Service, Weather Service, Meteorological Service. Then we can come up with a effective response plan. Not only that, especially in these high-risk state, South region of US, in the month of April, May, June, what we can do before that, we can create more campaigns and awareness. We can conduct some safety measures, evacuation drills, all that. Why we are doing this? Tornadoes are something which we cannot stop them, but we can aim to enhance the preparation of these tornadoes. We can reduce the severity of these tornadoes, and we can reduce the potential loss of life and injuries. Thank you. Hope you like my presentation. Thank you.
All right, everybody take yourselves off of mute and give her a woo woo.
That was good.
All right, Steve, you're up first.
Very well done. It was very interesting. Living in Tennessee, so I'm very familiar with tornadoes. So a topic of mine. I love the way you brought together not just the data itself, but brings it to in a graphical format to see how the things are, how different aspects are and different dimensionality is trending over time. The conclusion was very nice, because then you actually said, well, what are the insights that came out of it? I would say the only thing I would just add to it is look for more correlation. So I think the trends were great. I think the graphical presentation was great. I think the insights were great. I think the only point I would say is like correlation. Is there death to size, or death, or fatalities to size, or some kind of the correlation associated with that, or that might be something you could bring to light. But very well done. Great job.
All
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will take your feedback. So thank you so much.
All right, Joseph.
No, I totally agree with everything Steve is saying. As the resident data expert for Deloitte, I really can't top that. So, but I would say correlation was key for me. That I think that the presentation and the modalities, how you pulled everything in, was great. I think when you look at impact and the overall story, I would like to see like a deep dive into maybe the regions within those states to see if you get correlation of the information for demographic, county, and if there are things in the things that you've done, right, the different emergency response capabilities, could they be pushed out to those communities, those lower served communities? Because some of the areas and where we could improve and protect those fatalities, they may not have the ability to get access to that information. But I thought the macro view of what you presented was excellent. The data integration of what you've done, and then kind of the way you segment it to make it very easy to use, and also the trending over time was excellent.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, surely I'll take your feedback. Yeah, thank you.
All right, Gopi.
Yeah, so I agree with Steve and Joseph. Fantastic, very, very good streamline of the story, right? Where you started, what are the things that you highlighted, right? Where you ended, not about the insights, but also you presented, what it could, you're recommending some actions and all of that. So fantastic. Correlations is one of them. I thought about the going into one level down, right? State is good, but states are wide. So is there a way that we can go in particular? And then the population is one of the things that I was thinking about, right? How much service that you could provide, right? Based on the population, right? You could probably alert, right? Hey, this region, you have this much population, how is it? Again, it depends on the data availability, right? You may have the data, you may not have the data, but something, right? It's always okay for you to say, hey, I wanted to do this, but I did not have this data available with me, so I couldn't do it. Is okay. But thinking about that, right, would help. But otherwise, fantastic. I loved it. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
All right, great feedback. All right, let's move on to our next contestant, Esther.
How many of us have ever attended the hospital or taken someone, or someone who has gone to the hospital and it took so much time for them to be taken care of or to be attended to? Maybe they needed to go through a screening, they needed to go through a scan, and it took way more time than maybe the time you had allotted it for or the time you expected. Now, in our picture here, we have two different people with two different conditions. We have James. James has been suffering from a backache since the last 3 days, and he is going to be seen at the hospital. And then we have Mary here. She needs to be seen too. As we can see, it looks like she got into a car accident, so she doesn't have a choice but to attend a hospital for medical care. All these two people will go through scanners, they will be scanned, they will be treated. But how do we make sure that Mary and James get the proper treatment in the shortest time possible? This brings me to my problem statement. With the increasing cost of healthcare, a lot of people do not want to go to the hospitals, or if they go to the hospital, they don't want to spend so much time there. And also we see that the hospital too, they want to make the revenue. So how do we make sure that the hospitals make the revenue they want, and also the patients are attended to in the shortest time possible? Now, my data, I collected it from OECD countries, which is short for Organization for Economic Cooperation Development countries, which are countries that have come together to share economic policies to help with economic growth. My name is Esther Karanja. I'm a Power BI developer at Colaberry, and the project I'm presenting today is healthcare investment and health and length of hospital stays. In my data dictionary, my main table was hospital stay and investments, and that is my main table. And then I created measures which I used to come up with my insights and my KPIs. Also, I created a waterfall table, and this waterfall table just shows the decrease and increase in the KPIs year over year. And then we have our refresh days, just when the data are being refreshed. This is my dashboard. And in my dashboard, I'm just gonna go over the KPIs. Our main KPIs, we have the hospital stay, we have MRI units, we have CT scanners, and hospital beds. And then the sub KPIs are just all year-over-year differences. And we have the year-over-year for hospital stay, year-over-year for MRI units, year-over-year for CT scanners, and year-over-year for hospital beds. Now, I have my slicer here, and it's just slicing by year. So if you want to view specific years, the slicer is gonna help us show specific years we want to look at. Now, one thing I would like to point out, as we see here, the year-over-year for hospital stay, when the number is negative, we see our indicator is green. The reason behind that is because we don't want the patients to stay longer than they need to in the hospitals. So the lesser the number of days spent at the hospital, the better it is for the patient. So that's why we have it as green when the number goes below 0. Now we have 5 charts. I created a hospital stay by year chart, and here we're just looking at how the hospital stay was from the year 1990 to the year 2020. And then the second chart is hospital stay by region. And here we have the capability of drilling down. So the specific region, you can drill down to whatever region you want to view. The next one, we have hospital stay by location. And in this one, we are showing the hospital beds. The color represents the beds. And then the size of the bubble represents the hospital stay year over year. And then we have the waterfall chart. And with the waterfall chart, as I mentioned up here, when the number is negative, it's a green indicator. We are facing down. Here is the same thing too. When there is less number of days spent at the hospital, the indicator turns green. And the last one, we have hospital beds by region. And this just shows the number of hospital beds in each region. And also here, we have the capability of drilling down to the specific region that are represented, the specific locations that are represented. Now, I want us to focus in 3 specific years, and I'm just gonna select them up here. I'm gonna filter the data. So the 3 specific years I want us to focus on, and we'll grab our insights from here too, is from the year 1995 to 1997. As we can see here, in the year 1995, the hospital stay was negative 2%. And then we see the MRI units didn't have any much investment, the CT scanners and hospital bed. But in the year 1996, we see a hike in the hospital stay. After the hike, they had to invest more in the MRI units, the CT scanner and hospital beds. As we can see with the numbers, they're triple-digit numbers. And after the investment, we can see it having an impact with the hospital stay because the number of days spent at the hospital went down by negative 15%. So with that said, we can totally say that in the year 1995, when the hospital bed, the number of hospital stay was lower, they did not invest much. And then when it came to 1996, when it went up, we see that by investing in the CT scanners and MRI units and hospital beds, it had an impact on it because in the following year, we see the number going down. So we can safely say that investments here played a major role to bring the number of hospital stay down. Now, let's focus on a region like East Asia. So East Asia has the highest number of hospital stay. And we can see that from this chart here, the East Asia is following the same routine. In the year 1995, East Asia days of hospital stay was lower, but then it increased in 1996. And after the increase, which was very high, they had to invest heavily on MRI units, CT scanners, and hospital beds. And we can see that having an impact the following year because the number of hospital days spent at the hospital went down with a big number. Let's go back to our original data, original dashboard. In our original dashboard, we see the Southwest Asia has the lowest average number of hospital days. We can see it's averaging at 4.46. Now, with that said, if you look at the chart here, you see that in Southeast Asia, they look like they're always investing on the CT scanner, MRI units, as we can see from the chart. And the more they invest, the less the number of days spent at the hospital. So we can say that Southeast Asia is doing something right to help keep the number of hospital stay down. Here, as we look at the hospital beds, and still focus on Southeast Asia, so choose a year like the year 2008, the number of hospital beds here was 8. So the following year, we see they increased the number of hospital beds to 9. So this has an impact to the number of hospital days spent at the hospital. So with that said, we'll go back to my recommendations, since we have seen that the MRI units, the CT scanners, and hospital beds have an impact on hospital stay. Now let's look at what recommendations we have to help cater for the number of days spent at the hospital. The first suggestion I have is to increase healthcare investments. As we've seen in our dashboard, increase in the investments, it affects the hospital days in a big way. And then implement targeted interventions. As we've seen with our example here of James and Mary, James, his problem is not as bad as Mary's. So we need targeted intervention. Whatever is done for James should not be the same thing done for Mary. So we should have like care pathways, multidisciplinary approaches to different patients, so we can minimize the number of stays at the hospital. Because as we can see now, is 6.18 days to 7.1 days average. Then share best practices and benchmarks. Like the country like Turkey, as we have seen, it has been able to maintain its numbers of hospital days at 4.46. We need to know what is Turkey doing that we are not doing, or the countries that have high number of hospital days, they need to figure out what Turkey is doing and they are not doing. And because they are all together in that organization, I think Turkey will be a best bet for them to go for advice and see what they can do to decrease the number of hospital days. That's it from me. If you have any questions, here to answer them.
All right, everybody take yourselves off of mute and give her a woo, woo. All right, awesome. We're going to start with Joseph this time.
So I love the presentation. You know, and Steve, one of my other jobs as well is the cyber leader for our international development organizations, USAID and what have you. And I see direct application to what you've done here. I had a few questions. One, you know, based on your data set, it was a little unclear about the days, whether it was hospital stay versus days, and making that more clear would be great. And I would love to see for you what the change would be in your data if you had included the pandemic and how that affected the regions and the countries that existed, right? And how that difference between the pandemic occurring and the major investment in all those countries and regions as compared to the US would have been affected. I think that'd be awesome. But I think it's just one additional data set added, and you have true application to real world scenarios that could solve problems for global health for USAID. So excellent job done. I'll leave it to the other gentleman. And definitely one that's this is me on this call from United Healthcare, but I thought it was a great, great application of the data sets that you had that can provide real world answers to questions. So well done.
Thank you.
Gopi.
Yes, sure. Yeah, good job.
Thank you.
I think you got definitely a lot of knowledge that you exhibited. Length of stay. That is one of the actual things that we are currently working on. Not to give you too many details, but in the clinical space, right? One of the things that we do, our business is inpatient case management, and really look to bring the length of stay down. Being the payer side, right? Definitely the cost is a thing, right? So
Yes.
so I think definitely got nicely picked the topic, and definitely looking into the first I kind of confused about the what is the healthcare investment, but I think as you talked about it made sense. The numbers is something that I was not sure. The MRI units and CT scans. I was is it like the total that you are representing there, or is it always like previous year to current year difference, right? I know there is a percentage, but the totals I wasn't sure. One, the other item is hospital beds, right? Decreasing the length of stay. That correlation is something that I couldn't really understand, right? When you are increasing the hospital beds, right, how the length of stay could go down, right? That correlation is something that didn't make sense to me. But otherwise, you kind of looked into different aspect of it. You got a thought of correlation. What we gave last presentation, right? And it would have been better to look into correlation. So we see that from your presentation. You have that thought that you need to do that's good. So overall, and a good job that you got everything nicely done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. A topic very interested in. Prior to working at Deloitte, I was actually in healthcare data analytics. So actually I got my MBA in healthcare finance. So it's a topic near to my heart. I appreciate you looking at trends and even taking a long-term view of that. That's important because short trends sometimes don't show the true vision. I would, if you're going to provide insights, I would, even though looking at a long-term view, I might take a time frame that was more current. A lot has changed in 20 years. And even though taking that long-term trend view is important, for your examples, I would take something more current. And I do appreciate you taking the time to look at correlations. And though I gave that as advice on the last example, I would also say be careful when you do the correlations, because correlations need to also be very holistic. And even though we want to be data driven, be careful with the limited amount of data that you have. So you have to take into account external impacts. I think Joe said it kind of right with I didn't think about it at the time, but like even the pandemic or other external factors. So something to keep in mind. Is it the data you're just looking at and analyzing it, or could there be some other external factors that are impacting the trend or the anomaly you're looking at? But very good job. Great topic. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, fantastic. We got one more presenter, Helen.
I see a vision of ecstasy. When you hold me, I'm alive. We're like diamonds in the sky. I knew that we'd become one right away. Oh, right away.
Hello, everyone. Let me ask you a question. How many of you have been in New York City and found yourself stuck in traffic for hours? It's widely known New York City faces challenges with the busiest street and heavy traffic flow. Even if you've never been in New York City, I'm sure you heard about it. Let me ask you another question. How do you think the city can address this ongoing issue and improve transportation efficiency for both residences and visitors? My name is Helen Dow. I'm a Power BI developer. Welcome to our data-driven journey through the busiest street of New York City. In this presentation, I will explain the data set of New York City traffic accident from January to August 2020. In 2020, New York City experienced a scientific increase in motorist death and bicycle injuries, while pedestrian fatality death reached a record low. The COVID-19 crisis affected commuting patterns, leading more speed-related issues and growth in bicycle accident injuries. Despite reduced city activity, 239 people lost their life in traffic accidents, compared to 214 in 2019. This number of car accident deaths nearly returned to the Vision Zero program started in 2014. If it was not the scientific decrease in pedestrian death, the number of fatalities would have been over the level where all other categories of road users reaching the record high number of fatalities. This is my KPI. For my main KPI, I use number of crashes, number of fatality, number of injury, severity rate, and collision rate. For my sub-KPIs, I use crashes per day, fatality per day, injury per day, month-over-month crashes, month-over-month fatality, and month-over-month injury. This is my data dictionary. I have my main table here. I created also calendar table and crash time table. And here I have my measuring table and my refreshing table. Problem encounter. Starting my project, I struggled to find suitable data set that fits my needs. After testing different sources, I found one that fits my needs. In the beginning, I invested time calculating KPIs. Refining them based on feedback extended the timeline to the next project stage. Creating visually appealing gifts under 5 MB limit was time-taking, but I memorized steps and I memorized the steps to smooth, detailed, focused transitions. This is the positive insight I found on my data set. The positive insight in this was the number of fatality in Staten Island, which was 6 fatalities, was approximately 77.78 lower than Brooklyn, which was 24 crashes from January to August 2020. Another positive insight I found was the lowest number of fatality occur on Thursday, which was 14 crashes from January to August 2020, compared to Saturday, which was 33 crashes, which was approximately 57.58% lower than Saturday. So Thursday is better than Saturday. Just like the positive insight, I have negative insight. I found negative insight as well. One of the negative insight I found was on Thursday and Friday, which experienced the highest number of crashes per day. The number of crashes increased on Thursday, which was 47 crashes per day, which was 20.51% compared to Sunday, which was 39 crashes per day. The number of crashes increased on Friday as well, which was 51 crashes per day, which was approximately 30.77% higher than Sunday, which was 39 crashes per day. Another negative insight I found was that Brooklyn has the highest crashes per day, which average 70 crashes per day in Brooklyn. compared to Staten Island, which was 6 crashes per day, which approximately Brooklyn has the highest crashes than Staten Island with 1,066.67% higher. Suggestion and recommendation. My suggestions are, number 1, increase enforcement. Due to 2.4 rise daily accident in February compared to January, this means more police, stricter enforcement, and focus awareness in risky time in areas. Number 2 is safety road. Invest in Brooklyn roads. That was 1,066.67% crashes per day than Staten Island, which improved lighting, marking, safety at intersections. Number 3, awareness and education. Better road safety for all. Highlight rules, speeds, and alertness. Focus on day like Thursday and Friday. Number 4, data-driven analysis. Track crash pattern and risk zone. Use research and address speeding, distractions, and road issues. Number 5, collaboration. Promote collaboration among government, law enforcement, transport, and community groups. Thank you for listening.
All right, everybody take yourselves off of mute and give her a whoop, whoop. All right, Gopi.
But one thing it reminded me with the New York traffic is, in my previous company, we were doing an interview round, and we actually gave this data set to our candidates to analyze this. It's more on the Brooklyn bridges, look at it, the traffic analysis and stuff. So New York is definitely, a city that we should analyze more and more, whether in the cities or not. But coming to the presentation, right? I think you got the, your KPIs defined, you got your visuals defined, you took about 8 months of data. Probably don't have a lot of data in there, so that would have given a little bit more insights, but that's one of them. And finally, you were able to make out that, hey, Brooklyn is where you have more, traffic. But the month January to February, not sure whether, it tells a lot about it, but, yes, there is about 2% increase. But, probably want to look at, holistically. And map chart that you had in there, right? I didn't see you used much. So that is, not sure whether it is telling anything, just a recommendation, right? If something, it doesn't tell, you don't have to use it. That's one topic item that I have. Again, one more thing is, what are the external factor, right? Particularly for the accidents, weather, right? Weather would, weather data would always help, safety needs, all those are, definitely important. All of this, that you highlighted, but the weather, weather plays a significant role, and also the traffic run rate, and how many vehicles are coming, right? That is another thing that you could look at as well. But otherwise, you touched on, all the items there. Thank you.
Okay, Steve.
Yeah, sure. Helen, thank you for your presentation. Yes, as Joe knows, our corporate headquarters, both global and US, are in New York City. So I end up going there quite a bit, and always put my head down when I get in the Uber. So very appropriate topic. Thoughtfully put together. I appreciate the comparative analysis. I would be, and it might be seconding some things that Gopi said, graphically presenting things is very helpful. I mean, it is a way to present your information, but make sure you present things that are relevant. I did note the map. I don't know where the map really added value. I may have missed that, but also be careful with outlier data. I I think there was a significant portion that wasn't identified to which borough. So if you're doing a comparative analysis to the different boroughs, you might want to, you know, sort of call that out. I understand you want to be able to cross-foot your data, so it's whole. But when you're doing, because it was such a high number, and that's understandable. But when you're looking at relative comparisons, you might want to just sort of exclude that because your eye gets caught over there and you start looking at the exceptions. So just be careful. Sometimes data, you know, we want to be data driven. We want to be as objective, but you know, in the presentation, you just use that data as appropriate as possible to get your point across. So thank you for your presentation. Very, very much enjoyed it. And good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Joseph.
Yeah, I mean, just piggyback on what everyone else said. I totally agree. I thought it was very insightful. A lot of good data. I was thrown off by one graphic where it showed, you know, the occurrence of crashes not in the city, right? Whether that was something that was separate that kind of set the tone for all in total of how it trended over time. You do have what I believe is the New York TripAdvisor. And I was looking at it so that get to New York by Sunday, get to Staten Island as fast as I can, stay there only until Wednesday, and then try to get back home before Friday. So that was great insight that I saw. And it's actually a true statement, even getting to the airport. I was wondering if within your insights, if there was any conversation about, you know, automated technology, right? Such as speed cameras, even looking at, you know, the traffic patterns and being able to kind of integrate insights into, can more data help, right? And a lot of times we say yes, sometimes we say no. But I definitely love the way you pull the data together, and it's true, right? If there's something that's not needed, especially the map, you had the data there, you were ready to go, you had great insights and you had great outcomes. So don't feel that you have to overdo or provide a different lens, right, to prove your point, because you had proved it with the other, you know, insights that you provided before. Well done and excellent. So thank you for presenting today.
Thank you.
All right, great feedback. Now it's time to move on to that poll. All right, you will vote on your top one person, okay? Can't vote on two people, just the top one. All right, get those votes in. You guys ready to see who the crowd chose? All right, let's see it. Look at that. Look at that. A dead tie. Uh-oh. There you go. Look at that. Dead tie. Okay, Shalaja and Esther tied for first place. And then Helen coming in third. Now, judges, you may not know, but there's a little cash prize involved. And basically, it's going to be based on you guys' results. All right. So no pressure, no pressure. All right. Let me check it. Looks like we got our results in. All right. Third place is consistent with the judges. Helen got a 6.7, organization 6.7, presentation 6.7, originality and creativity 7.3, neatness 6.0, knowledge of material 6.7. All right, so we know we got a tie, Salaja and Esther. So let's see what the judges think of Esther. Esther got a 7.3, 7.7 organization, 7.7 presentation, 7.7 originality and creativity, neatness 6.3, knowledge of material 7.0. But the real question is, what do the judges score Salaja? It's tied through the poll, but now we have the judges. All right, let's see. Oh, and our winner tonight is Shalaja with a 7.9, 8.7 organization, 8.7 presentation, 6.7 originality and creativity, 7.3 neatness, 8.0 knowledge of material. Congratulations, Shalaja. You have won the event for tonight.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks to my mentor, my team, and all my friends. Thanks, Ali. I know for this project how I got. Yeah. Thank you so much, guest. And I love all your feedback. I will just take that and I will improve my presentation. Thank you so much.
All right, awesome, awesome. Helen, I would like you to tell us what you did before Colaberry and how was it preparing for this presentation?
So before Colaberry, I was dental hygienist in Germany. Preparing for this presentation, I have my extended family for Colaberry, my internship group, Devian, Abel, Zayad. Anytime I want to present them, they was there to listen to me, give me feedback, and yeah, I was practicing with them. And thank you for everybody helping me out.
All right, awesome. All right, Esther, tell us what you did before Colaberry and tell us what it was like preparing for this presentation.
Hi, before Colaberry, I was working as a full-time nurse. I'm an LVN, so I think looking for the data, I was looking for something that is related to healthcare because of my healthcare background. And that's how I came to come up with the data I had today. Preparing for the presentation wasn't easy because it's my first time like presenting in a crowd and everybody is looking at you. So your nerves are doing all kinds of things. But I was able to do it. And thank you, Ali, for your feedbacks, for your walk through the journey, preparing the project. You've been really helpful. And thank you for all of you for just showing up and supporting us.
All right, awesome. Shalaja, tell us what you did before Colaberry and tell us what it was like preparing for this presentation.
Yeah, sure. Before Colaberry, actually, I have some IT knowledge, but it's been a little break. And Colaberry helped me to rekindle my interest in IT and definitely in SQL, SSIS, Power BI. It's not like limited. We are able to explore everything and we have that liberty to do it. And we have excellent mentors, like we have Ali and my mentor Mena, my super mentor Ahmed, and my team, like all my friends, they encourage me. Yeah, I can see the team effort here. Like it's like if you know something, just brainstorm with others, right? It's not a competition, right? It's like more of like brainstorming and getting the skills. You're good at SSIS, somebody, your friend is good at Power BI. Come on, just brainstorm and they encourage, they support each other and they give liberty to explore. That's what I feel very good about Colaberry. Thank you so much.
All right, awesome. All right, judges. Stephen, what did you think of the event?
It was very well done, very well put together. I love the sort of the global feel of it all, since I'm in a global role. So I love that. Different perspectives, the diversity of thought, the diversity of backgrounds I'm a big advocate and proponent of that, because otherwise you get into the rut of groupthink. So I liked just the different perspective, the different topics, unique and interesting. I would second what Elijah said about teaming. As you get into the workforce, you absolutely have to team and collaborate. It's an essential point of that. So I'm glad to hear you've got mentors and teaming. And please realize, we gave this a critical eye with the what you did well and places you can improve. Just realize when you get into the workforce and into this area as you move along, that is part of it. You take the feedback, grow from it, and improve upon it. And it's all it is part of the journey that you're about to embark on.
All right, awesome. Joseph.
You said it well. You said it well. I want to, take a moment to also give a hand to the mentors and the team that supported everyone. I could definitely tell that you worked long and hard to pull this together, and you provide insights, even as we went through the different subjects, even flipping through, it was apparent that everyone spent their time and they were thoughtful and insightful in how they wanted to present the data. And seems right? This is a part of the process, right? As you go through and you're talking about data-driven dashboards, as well as thinking about regression testing, or even looking at the different models you choose, that's the part of being a consultant, right? And definitely having those peer reviews, making sure what I call your brains pump peanut butter, right? No hard feelings, but you have to make sure that, your product only gets better when you do it together. I think each of you had, an individual significance to how you presented your data. You all brought your authentic self, and it showed well. And I was just happy to see the diverse faces on the screen, excited for the future, right? We always hear about how bad technology and we don't have enough qualified people out there. You prove that wrong today, all right? Continue to do what you do, continue to stay focused, continue to drive for the right answer, and, continue to look at the devil in the details of the data.
All right. Thanks, Joseph. Gopi?
Hey, this is really good, well done, right? From a presentation standpoint, right, organization standpoint, and I see the support that has been provided to each of the presenters is fantastic. I could actually see that, they learned a lot, right, as they are presenting through. It's not easy to present. Again, we are, I am today at the judge side, I had been there on the, as a presenter side. So it's all about learning, is being here, I'm learning from you guys, right? Again, analytics, as Joseph mentioned, you mentioned, right? And analytics is a huge area, right? We want to, look at the data. But one quick thing that I would say, I tell, to many people, right? When you're looking at the data, reporting versus analytics, right? Reporting is very different than analytics. So just keep that in mind, right? This is very important. One of my previous roles, I've been in the analytics, leading the global analytics team, but I've been on the strategic side, right? Probably, 30 out of the strategic elements that we bring, probably 1 or 2 only move forward. So don't be discouraged, right? If something is not moving forward, that is very, very important, right? It's always that, our being in the analytics side, our goal is to understand, right? Bring the insights, look at the outliers, put your, observations, and, sometimes you may not be in the driving seat, right? To really take the strategy up forward. There are other folks, there are more people, who knows a little bit more on the strategy side. They will help you out, but don't discourage yourself, continue to do this, right? But I can actually feel it with your presentation. There is a high quality of your presentation. So I really enjoyed it. Thank you, guys.
All right, we appreciate you judges coming out. I have a Marine Corps background, and I built this program like a Marine Corps boot camp. So, what you see is about, most of them are about a year, right around a year of being in our program. And most of them have no experience when they come in. So we put them through the ringer. We make sure that they collaborate. We've taken all of the things that being a good developer is about, that grit, problem solving, troubleshooting, figuring out presentations, right? All of the components that it takes to make a good worker in this field, we put into this program, and we use AI, machine learning, to enhance their the speed at which they learn, right? And so when they end up graduating from our program, they're equivalent to someone who's about 3 to 5 years experience. They're using AI as well. They're using ChatGPT. We have AI tutors in the program. So they're learning how to Google and find their own answers no matter what. And now we've actually found a developer tool that will allow them to be able to run machine learning algorithms. So we're about to add that component in there as well. So that's something that we're going to be doing here real soon. But I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. This has been another Data Talent Showcase. We are here on the last Thursday of every month. And I want to invite you guys to continue to come out and see the results of the Colaberry program. Thank you everyone for showing up. Look, I said we were going to be out of here by 5:30, and I meant it. All right, everyone have a good one. I'll see you same time, same place next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ali, you're doing a great job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good luck, everyone. Thank you. Bye now.
Good luck, everyone.